Hello everybody, how are you doing? This is Dr. Assefi. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm PhD of Nanobiology and Doctorate of Healthcare Administration. I'm CEO of Curie Science Research Center and Principal Member of SPMT and Director of Administrative of Masudi Foundation, and also Director Mentor of IMG Helping Hand. It's my pleasure to be here with you. With all my students, we came up to a great and very interesting topic. So we gather all these articles and we make review article out of it. It's nanotechnology in spinal cord injuries, which is really interesting, and I want to talk about it today. But before that, we are going to talk what is nanotechnology in general. So as you know, nanotechnology refers to the branch of different major science, and they combine all the science together. And in nanoparticles, there's a small particle that ranges between 1 to 100 nanometers in size and undetectable by human eye. And nanoparticles can exhibit significantly different physical and also chemical properties. And I want to mention something interesting, that how we make nanoparticles. We have two different type of techniques that we can make nanoparticles. One is bottom up, the other is top bottom. But what does it mean by bottom up and top bottom? In technique of bottom up, we are going to make from small particles and make a huge and large particles from it. But what does it mean from top bottom? We are going to break it down, the particles, and coming to the small one. This is the major technique that we are using in nanotechnology. We have nano-based drug devices which we use in nanotechnology. For example, I'm going to give you one really interesting example, which is a nano-drug delivery system, which we use in chemotherapy, which is really great to use. For example, if you use chemotherapy itself, it harms all the cells, even the healthy cells. But when you use it with nanotechnology techniques, it helps and prevents from damaging your healthy cells. So it's really, really important and a great technique to use. And today I want to talk about nano-based drug delivery as well, which here we have two different ways as well, which is passive and self-delivery. But what does it mean by passive? In the former, drugs are incorporated in the inner cavity of the structure, but conversely, later, right now, by nano-drug based delivery, is the drug intended to the cavity of the cell and released for conjugate. The abstract of the review article is about the treatment of the spinal cord injury through nanotechnology and in cell therapy and also tissue engineering. So we use nanotechnology in cell therapy and tissue engineering together. So both of them are really interesting, but nanotechnology came up and combined all these great techniques for us, and we have a bright future with nanotechnology. And we use iron oxide nanoparticles as well. I'm going to show you how we make it, and by labeling transparent cells, so we can label the cells and we can target that as well. We have MRI performed in vivo tracking of grafted cells as well, and also therapeutic efficacy of the scaffold by biological active, and also using these scaffold as a stem cell tissue engineering. In the introduction, we have 250,000 to 500,000 people worldwide suffer from spinal cord injuries, which we are going from now. We are going to mention SCI, which is spinal cord injury, each year. So it's a lot, but with this technique, we can cure them as easy as possible. So we have two major pathophysiological events leading to the loss of sensory and motor ability of the stem cells, and also the result of a spinal cord injury are axonal degeneration and cavitation lead to oxidative damage, so it's really important to know. We have a polymer nanoparticle, which I'm going to talk about benefits and also limitation of it. This is one technique we can use for curing in spinal cord injury as well. So low CNS toxicity and spinal cord injury models are systematic polymers like PLGA, as you see. And PLGA, as you know, is approved by FDA, so it's really good to know FDA and also European Medicine Agency. So, and then we are going to talk about the systematic high dosage of associated toxicity of current therapeutic agent, which is really good to know. We have pathophysiology, progression of a spinal cord injury. We have two: primary harm and secondary harm. Primary harm leads to patient quality of life, and also secondary harm will be healthcare costs. So with these carbon nanotube, which is one of other aspects of nanotechnology, we can cover all these harms for patients. Carbon nanotubes are implements can effectively restore motor functions, so it's really great techniques we can use, paving the way for a novel therapeutic methods for spinal cord injuries. So, and then nerve fiber regeneration, which is really important, promoted by physical characteristic of nanomaterial, and these implements can guarantee mechanical support and at the same time interact electrically with neurons. As you see here, maybe able to derive therapeutic molecules to the targeted tissue. This is iron oxide nanoparticles, and we can have these applications that we can use from iron oxide nanoparticles. For example, we can use in MRI, we can use in different part of the cure and also the detect of the injury of a spinal cord. As you see here, it shows this is the spinal damage that with these two ways they can cure the spinal damage together using nanoparticles. The A figure is using nanoparticles as a drug delivery system. These are yellow ones showing as a drug delivery system nanoparticles, and B1 is carbon nanotube, which I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. So here you see the spinal cord, they have injuries. Here you see the damage is between L1 and L2 damage in the spinal cord, and you see that they can do with carbon nanotubes and also conductive CNT, PEGA, hydrogels as well, which is kind of nanotechnology techniques. And as you see here, this is SCME and TME of carbon nanotubes. Scanning electron microscopy, the first figure, and the second figure is TEM electron microscopy. So you can see both of them in the one page, the carbon nanotubes, which is really important as well. So in the discussion, we are going to talk about that nanotechnology has opened up many great and awesome doors for us, even in surgeries as well. Nanomaterial have been studied to create supportive frameworks, and also Rice University researchers created a unique kind of graphene nanotubes, which is kind of carbon nanotubes used in medicines and also used in surgery, which is really important. We reported that carbon nanotubes and nanocomposite improves axonal repair and also regeneration in lesion and cavity, and include modest functional recovery. So which is really important. And future studies we will explore the use of different concentration of these nanocomposites of characteristics and also functionalizing growth factors, which is important. And here, as you see, they are making a silver nanoparticle, which is one aspect of silver nanoparticle is really brilliant and used for curing surgery and used for curing and also surgery and preventing diseases. They use it. Nanoparticles also one thing that they do stop immune cells on their way to the spinal cord and divert them away from the injury. So this is really important. And also it helps that the immune cells are reprogrammed by the nanoparticles, which possesses the physical characteristic of the negative change that makes it easier to bind to the immune cells. And also, one important thing that you mentioned in this review article is that the nanowire-coated electrodes, which are the latest nanotechnology implements and can function as a neuronal interface and are paired with their sensors, which is really important and can read the magnetic signals and that neurons sense. So this is important as well. And we are coming to the carbon nanotubes, which are important and which is the important nanomaterial nowadays we use in surgery in conjugation with the nano electrodes would also provide nerve cells with the supportive frameworks that could enable them to transmit signals to the cord injury and then directly creating active bypass. So these are really important as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and attention. Thank you.